I have such an incredible honor to introduce Dolores Alvarado as PACT's Community Builder Honoree, because all of what PACT does and what PACT means is really in Dolores' blood. It's who she is. She is about community change in the most impactful manner that bonds us together. And it's especially important for me because Dolores and I and Akemi are all ALF Class 27 classmates, the best class ever, right? Really is the best class. Everyone says that, but we really do have the best class ever. And today, PACT is honoring Dolores Alvarado for her leadership for the health and well-being of our community for over 40 years. As the CEO of the Community Health Partnership, Dolores is a fierce advocate for affordable, accessible health services for our diverse communities, regardless of socioeconomic or cultural background. She is a champion for the 10 health organizations that are members of CHP, with 40 clinics serving thousands of community members throughout Santa Clara and San Mateo counties. Dolores' dedication to health equity is closely aligned to PACT's work in building a healthier and just community. With the current threat to healthcare in this country and to immigrants and other vulnerable communities, we are so lucky to have someone like Dolores in leadership, someone who's recognized throughout the Bay Area and the state. She is respected for her ability to bring stakeholders of diverse communities and perspectives to address the root causes of health issues, such as poverty and lack of education. Dolores' passion for community health is rooted in her childhood experiences. She grew up in Mexico until her family moved to San Francisco when she was 10 years old. As a young girl, Dolores served as an interpreter for her extended family of aunts, uncles, and cousins, including during medical appointments. She experienced firsthand the critical importance of health services and access to linguistically and culturally appropriate care. Throughout her career in the public health departments in Alameda and Santa Clara counties, and now at CHP, Dolores has worked to not only serve individuals, but also to create policies that provide and protect a system of healthcare that we believe is a human right. Since her early years, and still to this day when Dolores is confronted with the barrier, she remains undaunted and committed to figuring out a way around the challenge. Dolores is a community builder, role model, and champion, and it is such an incredible honor for me to be able to present her as the Community Builder Award winner for this year.
I don't even know where to start, but I will start by thanking Assemblymember Ash Kalra. Thank you very much. It is my pleasure and honor to be here with you today. I'm grateful to the PACT board and to the nominating committee for recognizing the importance of community health through allowing me to be up here with you. It's not often that most of us get an opportunity to share who we are and what our perspective is to such an eloquent group and an important group. So I thank you for being here today and giving me an opportunity to share who I am and to share my perspective. I'm proud to be associated with PACT for many personal and professional reasons. I can't emphasize that enough, I strongly believe that one of the most effective ways to bring about social change is not through government programs and regulations, but through community organizing and the voice and activism of our people in partnership with government. Thus, when people speak, government's job is to listen and to act accordingly, not the other way around. Examples of power of social activism are numerous, many of them in our lifetimes. So I'm going to share a few examples with you just to give us context. In 1946, the parents of Silvia Mendez organized 5,000 families, not 5,000 people, 5,000 families in East LA, in the District of Orange, demanding that their daughter be allowed to attend an all-white school. The federal judge ruled in favor of the families, Ending Segregation in California. That was 9 years before Brown versus the Board of Education. Little known fact. Very impressed with the fact that one family organized 5,000 families, not the Board of Education. In 1968, Chicano students in East LA staged an historic walkout in their high school to protest academic prejudice and dire school conditions. This walkout was initiated by the students and led by one teacher, not by the Board of Education. Community health centers, whom I proudly represent today, owe their existence to a remarkable turn of events in US history and to determined community health and civil rights activists working in low-income communities in Boston. During that same period, the United Farm Workers Labor Union brought primary care services to the fields in California, thus starting the community health center movement in California. Locally, a handful of students from the School of Public Health at UC Berkeley joined already organized residents of Oakland's Fruitvale District to open a storefront primary care center named La Clínica de la Raza, the Clinic of the People, which still exists today in 3 counties. Proud to share with you that that was my first job in community health in 1976, La Clínica de la Raza. I drive by there all the time, and my heart goes out to them because they pushed me in this direction. In San Jose, at the same time, a similar movement started in the basement of Sacred Heart Catholic Church, which gave birth to what is now Gardner Family Health Network and the Gardner Corporation. Gardner's sitting over there. The truth, little known truth often, is most of our community health centers had their beginning as a direct result of community mobilization, not of government intervention. Familiar examples include the Asian Americans for Community Involvement, AKI, also here today. Ravenswood Family Health Center in East Palo Altos, also here today. Northeast Medical Services from San Francisco, the Indian Health Center of Santa Clara Valley, and little known fact, over 100 years ago, Planned Parenthood was started, community mobilizing, a few nurses got together for women's health and women's rights. So now we're all in context, right? We're all together here. So let me share my story with you. In the mid-1970s, I was a student at UC Berkeley, and when La Peña Cultural Center opened, I went to the grand opening, and there was a play, community theater play. The actors depicted, I'll never forget this, skits depicting unfair labor practices, primarily in the campos, in the campsites, and human suffering. The final act, once they got us all, to empathize, the final act was a beautiful woman coming from the sky, depicting the iconic La Virgen de Guadalupe. It was not La Virgen, but it looked like the Virgen, right? The audience waited to hear her words of comfort and, suffer in silence. There will be a reward for you in heaven. Instead, in Spanish, and I cannot say it in Spanish because it's a couple of swear words, so I can't say that. I won't say this. But in Spanish, she looked and loudly and boldly said, "Organize yourselves, dummies. Stop this kvetching in power." So that turned my life around like you wouldn't believe it. 5 seconds of a play, being in Berkeley in the mid-70s, being employed by La Clínica de la Raza a year later, that completely turned my professional life. And so here I am, organizing myself. This brief yet impactful community theater experience carried me through many tough personal times. I must say that. The unbelievable power of coming together as one, of speaking with one voice and relating one message is what has kept Community Health Partnership alive and thriving for 25 years. This is what creates sustainability in a neighborhood, and more importantly, is what gives marginalized communities hope. That vision of coming together, of speaking with one voice, of knowing that 600 people are with Griselda. Where is Griselda? Anyway, that's the strength that we bring. So despite our strong foundation of community health centers, we do face a crisis with a president who constantly proclaims that we need to build a wall and who wants to kill the Affordable Care Act by bleeding it to death. So I'll tell you what, today we are going to give him a wall. Today, we are going to give him a wall. But our wall will be symbolic. It will sit on a strong foundation of community health centers and social activism. Instead of a structure to keep people out, our wall will redefine it. We will redefine our wall as a structure that supports our communities, unifies our families, protects our children, our seniors, those with different abilities, embraces recent immigrants and more established immigrants like my family and my family sitting at this table, values all sexual orientations like many of my family members and many in the audience, and welcomes all colors. And it's so beautiful to see up here, and I can see every shade of every single color in your beautiful faces. So let's continue to speak up when we experience bureaucracy being the bottleneck to service to our gente. Let's not take it, and let's not confuse bureaucracy with accountability. Let's demand of our representatives at all levels of government to act for the greater good, because it's never, ever about the individual. It's always on behalf of the whole. As President Johnson said to Martin Luther King regarding voting rights for African Americans, "You are an activist. I'm a politician. Go out there and make me do it." So let's make Washington, D.C. do it, whatever our do it is. It's not about taking credit so we can appear relevant. It's about giving credit to those who have worked hard to help us achieve our goal. It's not about me. It's not about Akemi alone. It's about all of us together. And let's support and work with agencies such as PACT, Siren, Working Partnerships is an example, and others to bring out the voice of our gente through voter registration and subsequently the vote. That's my message today, the vote. On behalf of the families that we serve in our community health centers, I'd like to thank you once again for this tremendous recognition. I'd like to close by acknowledging several groups and people that are here today. The PACT's Board of Directors, Advisory Board, and Nominating Committee. Thank you. Akemi Flynn, PACT's Executive Director, for her leadership and guidance. Very specially, the 27th class of the American Leadership Forum for their camaraderie and their generosity. Please raise your hand once again. Thank you. Thank you. Community Health Partnerships Board of Directors for their unwavering support and encouragement. And they are all here. Please raise your hand. Board of Directors, CEOs. This is a group, by the way, of one of the most intelligent, heart-filled, skillful CEOs that I have ever worked for, and I've been working for 40 years. So thank you for being here. Community Health Partnerships, hardworking staff, my team, and I'm going to ask them to stand. They're all over the place. And I tell them every day, we are small, but we are mighty, and we're a force to be reckoned with, along with you. And most importantly of all, in Mexico, in many Latin countries, you leave the best for last. My family, particularly my husband, Antonio, who is at this table, my children, Antonio Jr. and my beautiful daughter, Marisela, my granddaughter, Camila, who is in school, so where she should be, so she's not here today. And then two of my very favorite other family members, my cousin Leticia Berghammer and my sister-in-law, Lucy, for being part of our journey together as a family. Thank you for being here. And my last statement I mean with most sincerity, although I stole it. In the words of Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, I'm an ordinary person who has been blessed with extraordinary opportunities and experiences. Today is one of those experiences. Thank you very much. Thank you.